Hello everyone, Z3KO Trinity here. Today's episode I'll be doing a book review on Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Now this book is one of my top 5 favorite Stephen King books of all times. It is absolutely brilliant. Love this book so much. If you have not read it, I extremely recommend it. And yes, it is a little bit different compared to the movie. They did leave out a lot of details and a few characters that I thought they shouldn't have, but anyway, if you haven't read the book, I highly recommend you to read this book. It will definitely be one of your favorites. But as for the plot, the book was written in 1983, and it is about Lewis Creed. He is a doctor from Chicago, and he gets a job and has to move to a small town called Ludlow. And he moves into this house that is directly near the road. Like, the road is right in front of the house. And it's a busy road. Truckers flying up and down the road constantly. And him and his wife, Rachel, and the two kids, Ellie and Gage, just move in, and he meets the next door neighbor called Judd Crandall, which is my favorite character. And pretty much what happens is their cat Church gets run over by a truck, and Rachel doesn't like death at all. She doesn't want to think about it, doesn't want to basically talk to her kids about it or anything. And the reason is because she had an older sister named Zelda who died from spinal meningitis. And when she watched her, it was like her sister was becoming a monster. She was looking deformed. And to me personally, that was the scariest part of the whole book, was her sister. Like, reading that part and watching it in the movie, it just freaks me out big time. So if that freaked me out, I could just imagine how the character of Rachel Creed felt. So she doesn't want anything to do with death. So when their cat Church gets run over, Lewis is faced with the decision: should I tell my daughter? How can I tell her about death? And Judd, which took them down a path and showed them the whole pet cemetery to begin with, told him that he knows a place beyond the cemetery that you can bury the cat. Now, the difference in the movie is, I think, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I've seen the movie, he just tells him that he doesn't know how he'll tell his daughter, but the guy tells him immediately about the whole Micmac burial ground. But in the book, his wife, Norma, was having a heart attack, and Lewis saved her life. And for that, Judd wanted to repay him by telling him about the Micmac burial ground above the pet cemetery. So he takes the cat there, buries the cat there, and the cat gets resurrected. Of course it's not the same, the cat starts acting a lot more weirder, a lot more angry, and just different. And, well, life goes on, blah, 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 blah. And as the story progresses, eventually their son Gage gets run over by the truck. And immediately Lewis wants to put him in the cemetery. He's been warned by Judd that once you put a human there, they don't come back the same. And I won't ruin too much of the story if you have not read it, but I definitely highly recommend this book. It is great. And for this part, I'm going to be spoiling some things, so if you have not seen it, you could turn the video off now, and I will see you guys in the next video. But Judd is my absolute favorite character. I mean, he was just so cool, and I loved the way he talked. Like, it was it was just it's hard to explain just as you're reading it and even watching the movie because they got a perfect actor to play Judd in the movie. I'm not sure what the actor's name is. It might list it in one of there, but I just can't remember the actor name that plays him. But I just love the way he talks and how just the whole story plays out. And what I think is cool is that it all happened to Stephen King, really. Well, of course, without the resurrection part, of course, but Stephen King had to move to a smaller location near a road, and his cat got ran over by the truck, so he had to explain to his daughter the whole, reason why people die and blah, 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 blah kind of talk. And that's the biggest thing that I love about this story is really scary, but it's also real because every bit of it is real to Stephen King. He had a neighbor who showed him the pet cemetery, and obviously it's misspelled. The cemetery is misspelled, but that's because it's a children's cemetery. The kids bring their animals there to bury them. And that's one of the reasons why I think that this story is extremely creepy. But my favorite part of the whole book, and I have many favorite parts, honestly, because this book is just awesome. But I love the very end of the book, like the very last line, where his wife Rachel, after she had died, and even after all he went through, killing his kids, setting the house on fire, stuff like that, after all he's been through, then Rachel dies, and he does the exact same thing over again. And a cold hand fell on Lewis's shoulder. Rachel's voice was grating, full of dirt. "Darling," it said. Not what she said, but it said. And I thought that was absolutely pure genius. But I have many favorite parts of the story. Um, I like how it portrays like three deaths, kind of like the three wishes of the monkey's paw. The first one was with the cat, and it was okay. The cat was evil, but it didn't seem like a big deal. Second was the kid, and then the third and final was the wife. So it was like the three wishes. And I thought that was pretty epic. Really, I have nothing negative to say about it. My least favorite part of the whole thing was probably how her parents treated Lewis. Like, I can understand that they never liked him to begin with, and I mean, his son had just passed away, so I thought it was really awful of them to treat him the way they did. But the scariest part to me was Zelda. The whole thing was Zelda. And I thought the movie, the movie Pet Sematary, was absolutely on point, which Stephen King wrote the script for it. So he made sure it was legit. And I even liked Victor Pascal. I like him a lot more in the book, but in the movie, I like the actor that plays him. But yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I love the book and I love the movie. I would give them both 10 out of 10 because it's just an awesome story. Um, I didn't care too much for the sequel, Pet Sematary 2. It was good, but I don't think I want to buy it. But anyway, that's my review on Pet Sematary. Tell me what you liked about Pet Sematary. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Whether you like the movie better than the book, which is impossible, but whether you like the book way better than the movie. I love them both equally, so I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.